Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. With OpTic Texas finally getting a win on the board here in 2022, Scump and iLLeY have broken down exactly what it took to get that to happen and why the leadership question may now have been solved for the OpTic guys. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it as well. Let's just dive straight on into things. Not sure really why Doug's on a billboard right here in Times Square. Pretty cool though, I think it might be Super Bowl related. I don't really know. It's Super Bowl Sunday. That means there's only 2 games tonight. We'll talk about that towards the end of the video, but first we have to dive into a game that did go down yesterday. We didn't get to discuss it in yesterday's video. Thieves versus the Mutineers. This is a pretty crazy game because it seems like every single series the Mutineers play, you don't know whether they're just going to get 3-0 smoked or whether they're going to be really competitive with a great team or just beat a great team. They could have done it right here. This game one was absurd. I mean, honestly, it looked like it was funny after the game ended. Thieves won this one, but if you look at the face cams, both teams looked like they were defeated just because it was taking so much out of them. It felt like right there. Thieves didn't even look happy. Just because this game's such a mix the entire way through. The amount of engagements some of these guys were putting up was absurd. Vivid had like an insane number of engagements. I actually grabbed the scoreboard last night just because I thought it was so ridiculous. Vivid was 45 and 40 in kills right here, so 85 engagements. Pretty sure that's probably the most we've seen so far. On the other side though, Envoy has 46 kills. I believe, well, maybe they're tying the record for this map that I think Sky's had. But interestingly enough, he only has 4,300 damage. Actually, Kenny with only 37 kills has 4,700 damage. Vivid breaks the 5,000 damage mark. Awakening is here at 41 as well. So, just a ridiculous map one, honestly, but Thieves managed to win it anyway. So, I think over the course of the series, they got outslayed here. I think they just about get the job done. Florida managed to level the score in Game 2, and then Game 3 was really the Envoy show. Like, this is the first time I think we've really seen so far this year Envoy just completely take over a series. Like, his stats at the end of this are pretty absurd. The control as well was just disgusting. I mean, look at the kills he's getting right here. They simply cannot deal with this man. Seems like this game suits him pretty well. And, yeah, good to see, to be honest, after this big old time he had with OpTic last year and finding himself on the Thieves team right now. Definitely, well, showing up these last couple of games he's played most certainly. But Mutineers win the control. There was some talk about the fact that despite Thieves actually winning their defenses very comfortably, it was because it goes to kills right in the round 5. Florida got defense round 5. They win the round 5, so it means that Thieves have to bounce their way all the way back to a game 4. They win that as well, and then it goes to a game 5 where it felt like they were going to win comfortably. But honestly, they were up 5-0 on this Picard Search and Destroy, and then everything started to come back right. And this is a bit of a question mark for Thieves, really, that closing out games wasn't so easy for them right here because, I mean, this is a ridiculous final round. But yeah, it goes all the way to 5-4. The last time we saw a full sale comeback, as it's known, was, I believe it was Huntsman versus Rokkr in Modern Warfare, when it was a 5-0 comeback and Envoy made the Ninja Defuse round 11. You guys might well remember. It's known as a full sale because the original was OpTic versus Complexity back at Full Sail University. I think it was the Spring Championship 2013 or whatever, but it's very rare for this to happen. And, I mean, look, Mutineers almost made it work. This final round as well was a bit sketchy. Awakening was in a 1v2. I imagine maybe like in his head he'd kind of plan, okay, I'll kill the first guy, I'll call in the glide bomb, kill the second guy, get the defuse. The problem was by the time he actually killed Octane right here, I mean, yeah, at this point he honestly could still win this, right? It's very unlikely. There's maybe a 1-2% chance that he wins this because there's 13 seconds on the clock. He has to get to the bomb and defuse it. Drazah, all he really has to do is just hide and then check the bomb at 7.5 and he's going to win the rounds. But I mean, still, it's possible that the Drazah makes a mistake. If Awakening slides out here and shells, even though he's already weak, maybe he wins the gunfight like 1% of the time and gets the defuse. The play he makes in the game is just, I mean, immediately takes the L because he calls it the glide bomb. And at this point, there's no way in hell that he can actually get the kill and still get to the defuse in time. So, I mean, he brings it in and Drazah makes a pretty funny play. He just runs towards Awakening saying, well, if you kill with the glide bomb, you're going to take yourself down as well. Indeed, that's exactly what happens. They win the series. The overall stat line was pretty absurd. I mean, Vivid has 113 kills. Envoy has 115. Maybe the new record for the most in the series. The rest of the team all have the same kills, actually. 12k damage, though. Octane has almost 13k. And Awakening has 13,500, which actually converted to last year, given the kind of 150 health that we had last year, is over 20,000 damage, at least in terms of last year's numbers. So, yeah, pretty ridiculous stuff. Envoy was taken over. Someone get a trade on me, she says right here. But of course, OpTic also won yesterday. That was certainly the big story for those guys. I mean, a comfortable 3-0 victory over Paris Legion. Certainly what they needed, right, to get back into business here. And a lot of talk about the first couple of series they lost when it was down to the wire. The leadership wasn't ideal. Like, no one was really chiming in and taking over and saying what to do and kind of getting control of those hectic situations. Yesterday, we kind of discussed, like, against Paris, they didn't really have to deal with too many of those hectic situations because the game wasn't particularly close from start to finish. But still, it feels like Scump and iLLeY, given their first victories now on the boards, they've kind of figuring out and worked things out behind the scenes as to exactly how they're going to do the leadership stuff. So Scump has a few words to say on this. I'll share what he has to say on the leadership perspective, and then we'll see what iLLeY thinks.
Seth, congrats on the win. And I want to ask you, a leadership question about the team. Who is the in-game leader for this roster. I know a lot of people, you know, look at it and they think like iLLeY would be sort of the guy who's calling the plays in game. Who is it, and how's that been for you guys so far in this game?
Yeah, so a lot of people we've been seeing, you know, OpTic has leadership issues, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, we all chime in at different times whenever we need a reset, or if someone's feeling something in search and destroy, we all have different play call ideas. So, and I think that's honestly what kind of hurt us in some of our previous matches was we all wanted to do something, but we would get called off because someone else had an idea, and that kind of came back to bite us, especially in the Rokkr series on that last map. So I think what we're trying to do now is just trust in our calls a lot more. Like in the search, for instance, Ender told me to hop the bomb, and I had full confidence that he was watching over me. I had full confidence, but it ended up not working. But I ran out of bullets.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but we're just working on the trust. I mean, we're a new team. We have 2 duos from old teams, so just working on trust and allowing people to really take the spotlight whenever it's their turn to do it. So I think we have a good system here.
So Sean Collins from the Dallas News spoke to iLLeY last night, right, about exactly what was going on in that series. He actually says right here, the only people whose opinions I care about on my team, that's the only experience I take emotionally. Don't care about the noise, the hate, or anything like that. So iLLEY's certainly got the goggles on. He's focused, he's going forwards. And I'll leave the entire thing linked down below for you guys if you would like to check it out. Certainly a good read, but a couple of snippets here definitely deserving of mention, because of course Scump said, look, all the players make calls when needed, but you know, it was kind of messing them up at times, because in hectic situations, everyone's bringing ideas to the table. There kind of needs to be one strong voice who's going to make the play call, and that's how it's going to be, right? He said in that interview how iLLeY still told him to do something. He's got the trust in him to do that. Didn't work out in that particular round, but it's still on the whole, that's probably a good idea. So iLLeY says he's been working with Rambo on his own leadership. At the end of games, that players will tunnel and tend to make bad decisions sometimes. Dallywall said that's iLLEY's surname, but well, that's what I'm improving on. Ray and I, that being Rambo, are working on it, and I'm definitely getting better. I'm going to keep getting better as the year goes on, kind of making those key calls in the crucial moments. This is one of the specific moments I feel like I needed more reps. Today, I felt much more confident on the map, shot calling in situationals. iLLeY brought up a specific moment when they won 6-3 in terms of adjustments and mid-round decisions. One of the rounds on offense, we went B and Shotzzy died. We got the trade. We wrapped back twice to A before in that match, so I called it for a fake wrap back and then go B anyway. Those are the shots I wasn't calling in the first 2 games against London and Minnesota, but you know, just felt like I needed more reps on the map to kind of be confident in making those calls. And now doing so, their search and destroy seemed to be a lot more comfortable yesterday against Paris, especially after those first 2 rounds that they did indeed lose. He also says this, right, obviously finding their clutch factor is still important. We'll see if that comes to fruition against Toronto when they play them next Friday. But for me, it's all about stepping up and being the leader when it's needed, telling my team what needs to be said, telling them to calm down and to do what we learned in practice. Honestly, that's a big thing, reminding ourselves of the goal that needs to be done. So definitely iLLeY thinks, yes, he's going to be the leader on this team. He's going to make it happen. Hasn't obviously been so ideal so far in their run, but a few more reps under his belt, a bit more confidence, I suppose, in making those kind of big calls for a team. We'll see how it goes, right? Because against Paris Legion, when you're comfortably up 1-0, like it's probably quite easy to make a call like that. Game 5 round 11 against Toronto Ultra might be a different story, right? So we'll see how it goes, but I think reps obviously will be key for this team, and he certainly recognises that as well. And well, this is one of the situations, right, where iLLeY clutches this nice little 1v1 to finish off the game as well. So it's not just skill, it's not just the talent that comes into play, but it's also the leadership behind the scenes that a lot of people have said is the problem really for this OpTic team. That's why guys like Enable were saying, look, drop Dashy, get accuracy in there, which I think is probably not the way to go, but it does really echo the opinion that the leadership on OpTic so far hasn't really been coming to play, and that iLLeY reckons he's stepping up into that role, and Scum believes that they did a pretty good job of it in their matchup yesterday. This also, given we were talking about iLLeY, thought this is an interesting take really. If you guys remember this, I think it was originally added back in Advanced Warfare, right? And it was a Sledgehammer edition, the firing range. When you were in a pre-game lobby, you could go into the firing range, test out your weapons, and it was really cool. They brought it back in World War II as well, but in this game, it's not a thing, unfortunately. It hasn't been the thing for quite some time. I really do wish they brought this back. This would be fantastic. I was hoping Sledgehammer might deliver on that front this year, but I guess they have other things on their plate to deal with. This also from Scump, the best Call of Duty tier list. Definitely always hot takes when it comes to tier list in Call of Duties. A lot of the times, like because I didn't play some of the real OG ones, like, you know, COD 1, COD 2, COD 3, didn't play the original COD 4, right, to World at War, stuff like this. Like I'm kind of before my time in a way. I mean, I got Black Ops 1 when I was, 11 or something like that, so I guess I can't really be too mad at myself. But I mean, still, yeah, pretty much every game from there I played, but it's tough before that. God, like Scump's been around so many years, done a pretty decent tier list. It is always interesting because, of course, you've got to rank them to some degree on just how good they are as games. Like, do you consider the campaign? Do you consider the zombies? Like, do you consider how good they were from a competitive perspective? He actually puts Cold War here in B, Ghost in B as well, pretty interestingly. COD 4 Ghost in B, kind of a hot take. I think a lot of people say COD 4 should be right up there. And Modern Warfare is way down here with the F2. I thought it was pretty funny. He didn't rank Vanguards because I believe he was kind of concerned about being fine. But a pretty interesting list. Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 in the S tier will always get my sign, seal, and delivery of approval. This also from Enable, right? Because for whatever reason, the CDL is completely mugging Octane off with this picture. I don't know why they use this one. I also don't know why the pictures tend to be, I don't know, the pictures every year don't seem to be the best in my opinion. Like Crimsix, also the pictures they take of Crimsix, for whatever reason, there's like literally 2 good pictures of Crimsix that exist from back in the Dallas Empire days. Like, I swear all the new ones they do of him aren't particularly good. I want a new picture of Crimsix to put on the thumbnail, but they're just not particularly flattering, right? And Octane, once again, not really sure how they've pulled this off, and Envoy was kind of roasting him on the timeline. Of course, Octane wasn't particularly happy in the reply. I think even Los Angeles Thieves tweeted this out. He just said, just bench me. I don't want to see it anymore. Get us out of here. But, I mean, yeah, I don't really know why the CDL pulls this off. They should stop violating him on the stream. That's all I'm going to say. And let's talk about the games for today. So tonight, if these games are particularly interesting, spicy, or whatever, I'll talk about the matches. Otherwise, I'll find some sort of other topic to discuss for you guys. But, I mean, we'll probably talk to some degree about the matches anyway, because very interesting stuff. Of course, very important stuff, because yesterday we saw that Ravens pretty much now confirmed into the winners brackets. Guerrillas still have a lot to fight for. All these teams have a lot to fight for as well. These are the 2 games then of the deck as I bring it onto the big screen. And well, Los Angeles Guerrillas play up against the Ravens. Very exciting again. Like, if London play anything like they did yesterday, like, I'd be surprised if they don't win this series, to be honest. LAG definitely looked better a couple of days ago. They were going toe-to-toe with Toronto in that series, but they did get 3-0'd at the end of it. And I just can't really see this Guerrillas team right now taking down London the way London are playing. Of course, look, things could change. It's people always say Call of Duty's pretty day-to-day. It's obviously a massive series for Guerrillas, and on the London side, they've kind of already got the winners bracket spot, so maybe they're not too worried. But of course, you want to go 5-0 if you at all can to make sure you get the highest possible seeds. Ultra versus Mutineers, another pretty interesting one. Important series for both of these teams to get some more points onto the border for the Mutineers as well, to try and actually get the spot in the winners bracket for the major. But yeah, I think I'm most interested in the first series really here, and what Los Angeles Guerrillas can do. Can they put something together against London? Because they got kind of, well, they got 3-0'd by the other European team a couple of days ago in Toronto, at least in terms of the roster. And I mean, yeah, will London do a similar thing to them? And if they do, it may be another sign really for the Los Angeles Guerrillas that this team may not be a team that's actually capable of winning championships. But I'm very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. My predictions for this, I'm going to be very optimistic and take a London 3-0 stomping in 50 minutes. And then I'm going to take Ultra beating Mutineers 3-1. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. We'll tell the YouTube gods it's a good video. I just like you should see it as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.